Meeting the source of the calm. If meeting my parents was an audit, meeting Sam's was a final exam in a subject I hadn't studied. The quiet confidence he carried, the self contained calm, I realized I had no idea where it came from. I braced for engineers, for stoic silence, for a house of pristine order. What I found was a cottage on the edge of town, practically humming with quiet activity. His mother, Elena, greeted us at the door with a smile that was Sam's in softer form, her hands dusted with flour. "You must be Alex. Come in, we're just wrestling with the garden." The house wasn't silent. A folk station played softly from an old radio in the kitchen. Sam's father, David, was in the backyard, patiently untangling a thorny raspberry vine from a trellis. He waved, a simple, warm gesture, and went back to his work. There was no interrogation. Instead, there was inclusion. "Alex, can you hold this bowl?" Elena asked, guiding my hands to a ceramic mixer. "Sam, the jars are above the fridge." We were put to work, folding dough for a galette, washing just picked greens. The conversation meandered about the aggressive squash plant, about a book David was reading, about my major. Their questions felt like curiosity, not assessment. I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop. For a pointed question, a loaded glance, it never came. The revelation came in the quietest way. After dinner, Sam went to help his dad with the compost. Elena handed me a dish towel. We stood at the sink, looking out the window at them in the fading light, two tall, quiet figures moving in easy unison. "He worried about you coming," she said softly, not looking at me. "Not because of you, but because he wanted it to be right for you." I watched Sam point to something in the compost bin, his father leaning in to see. "He never seems to worry," I said, almost to myself. Elena laughed, a gentle sound. "Oh, he does. He just processes it internally. Always has. Even as a little boy, he'd get quiet and still when he was upset. He'd fix things, reorganize his tools, bake." She nodded toward the counter, where the leftover galette sat. "It's how he makes the world make sense. He takes the chaos and finds the pattern in it." She rinsed a plate and handed it to me. "When he told us about you, he didn't say much, but he said, 'He's lively, and he sees the things other people don't bother to look at.'" She finally looked at me, her eyes knowing. "I think you see my son." My throat felt tight. I just nodded. Later, we were given Sam's old room to sleep in. It was clean, spare, with shelves of organized books, and a model engine on the desk. The window looked out over the dark garden. I sat on the edge of the twin bed, overwhelmed by a new kind of understanding. Sam came in, closing the door softly. "You okay?" he asked, reading my quiet. I started, looking around. "I get it now, where you come from. This peace isn't something you built in spite of anything. It's what you were taught. It's your first language." He sat beside me, his shoulder brushing mine. "It can be a little quiet," he admitted. "It's not quiet," I said, turning to him. The radio from downstairs was a faint murmur. A moth tapped against the window screen. "It's full. It's just a different frequency." He smiled then, a slow, deep smile that reached his eyes. He lifted his hand and brushed his thumb along my cheekbone, a single, sweeping stroke. It was the same gesture, but it felt different here, in the room where he grew up. It felt like a translation. "They loved you," he said simply. He leaned in and kissed me, and it was different here too. Softer, deeper, like a secret finally being spoken in its native tongue. There was no chaos to counter, no noise to soothe. There was just the profound understanding that I was being shown the source of the river, and it was gentle and deep and clear. I had come braced for a test. What I found was a key. That night, falling asleep to the sound of his even breathing in the room that made him, I understood the final piece. His love wasn't just a sanctuary he offered me, it was a heritage, and I had just been welcomed into it.